Alright, now it's time to make our player move, but before we begin writing our first code, I want to teach you few basic programming things because I don't know, you might be completely new in Unity and C Sharp or in programming in general, so I want to teach you a little bit of basics that we will need. So first of all, what we need to create C Sharp script because Unity uses C Sharp programming language. So let's create new folder. So in the assets folder, right click on the empty space, create folder, and I called it scripts. You can call it scripts as well. Then we will open the scripts folder, and I already created C Sharp script for us to use, but you just need to click on the empty space one more time, create C Sharp script, and name your script player. And just remember two rules when you name your scripts. First letter should be capital letter, and also if your name contains two words, for example, if we are to say player movement, you just don't need to have any kind of space in your script name because otherwise you will get error. So just remember first capital letter and no space in your name. Okay, now in order this script to do something, we just need to attach the script in some game object in our game. So since it's the player script, it will be logical to attach this script to our player. And it's very simple to do it. We just need to drag the script and drop it into our player. And if we select the player, now we have this player script. There is second way, so I will remove it for a moment. We can select the player, and we can hit add component, and in the search box we can type name of our script, which is player, and we can add it like this as well. Now let's double click to open in Visual Studio. And when we open our script, this is what we will see. Now our default script contains from two functions, and the main commands basically will be written in functions, and we can create new functions as well, and we will. And before this start, here you see the space, and here we will create variables. Now if you don't know anything about variables, they are just containers, and we can save different kind of information in those containers, and then we can easily use them in our scripts. For example, how to write variable. First we should decide we want our variable to be public or private. After that, we should decide what type should they have. And for example, there are few types. There is integers, floats. They are used with the numbers. For example, if we were to create some variable for our speed, we will be using integers or floats. They are also strings for the text elements, transforms for the locations, and so on and so on. We will get to all of them later. And then we will say name of our variable. Any name will work, but just make sure it to be logical. For example, if we are creating move our variable for speed, it will be logical to say move speed or just speed. Now, difference between public and private. Let's first create one variable, and I will show you difference between public and private variables. So public, let's create float, and let's call it move speed. And you should end it with the semicolon. Let's save our script. To save your script, you just need to hit Ctrl and S or Command and S if you are on Mac. And let's go back, let our script compile, and then when we select our player, you see here now we have this move speed component element, and here we can change our move speed to be, for example, 3. And making this move speed public is good because if it was private, we won't be able to see it in the Unity editor right here. And for example, when we play test and see that our speed is not enough or it's too much, if it was private, we need to go back every time and change our speed from here. But since we have since our speed is public, we just simply go here and change our speed from here. I hope it makes sense. So that's for the speed. Now I also want to have reference for our rigid body, because we will need this rigid body to actually move our player later. So let's get reference for our rigid body. There is two main options. We can make this rigid body public as well. Public type will be rigid body, and let's call it RB, semicolon, and let's save our script. Now let's go back in Unity. And now you will see empty slot for our rigid body like this, and we can simply drag and drop our rigid body there. And now Unity will know that when we use RB in our script, we are referring to this rigid body, which is nice. But making rigid body public is not the best way, and it's better to make our rigid body private. It's better practice. But the problem is that if we make our rigid body private, we won't be able to attach this rigid body by hand, because there is no rigid body slot basically, and Unity will not know what is this RB at all. So for that, we can use getComponent method. And to use it, we just go in the start function. By the way, the start function runs when our game starts, and this update function runs every single frame. And we go in the start function, and we can say RB equals, we should say Unity that when we use RB, we mean this rigid body. So you can say getComponent, and here in the middle, we can say a component that we want is rigid body, parenthesis, semicolon, and that's it. We can save the script, and now when we use this RB, Unity will know that we are referring to our player's rigid body. I hope it makes sense, and that's just the basics that I wanted to talk about. And from the next video, we will be starting writing some codes, and we will make our player move.